Hello and welcome to the LCS and the room where the waiting happens.
I bumped my elbow.
What did you do?
I bumped my elbow. I swear to God, this thing's closer than normal.
What you guys aren't seeing, Mark just slammed his elbow into the telestrator. Raz almost choked on his coffee.
It's closer. I swear to God, it's closer.
Yeah. Or you have a random growth spurt in your life.
Little did you know, these are high risk jobs that we have here, that we hold here. A new patch begins as we dive into the weekend. We got a lot to get through today, so we're going to go ahead and get rolling through it all. 12-14. Let's talk.
Are you ready for Pantheon Jungle?
I'm so ready for Pantheon Jungle. Who's going to bring it out? Who will be the first? Who should bring it out?
Everyone.
So who should bring it out? It's pretty strong. Who do I think would bring it out first? I don't know. CLG maybe. They're willing to kind of try out.
Like Contracto.
Kobe and I were talking about this off camera before, and we're like, CLG are willing to throw out a lot of the picks that other LCS teams might be a little bit too afraid to play around.
I mean, we have to talk about the system changes with Carol's Drakes first, right? Like, there's a lot of champion changes, a lot of item changes, a lot of, like, sustain changes and stuff. But the biggest thing is that the Dragons had their values for the stats they're giving you upped by 50% on all of them except Cloud Drake, which got 100% more of the benefits of the buffs from when you get it. So stacking these will lead to a lot higher values. Even the first ones are a lot more powerful. Rip Carol got gold slapped into it, like local gold just for slaying it. So like there is so much more reason to fight over things in the early game.
And anti-durability changes to the runes specifically.
Yeah.
The runes, if you look at just like Guardian, Unflinching, Second Wind, Potions also got nerfed. So really when it comes down to this holistic system change in laning phase, it is now a lot more punishing. You can't just, if you're like playing a bruiser top lane and you're going into, a lot more resistances, like you will get punished a lot more heavily for it. So it's gonna be a lot more fun seeing how the potions getting nerfed across the board, specifically like Second Wind getting nerfed, and also on top of that, things like Scorch and other like, damage focused. Oh yeah, and of course bone plating. I actually forgot about bone plating getting nerfed as well. So like across the board, it felt like they recognized the issues that came with the durability patch as a whole, and this was a big patch for a reason, really just struck a hole in a lot of those issues.
So durability comes down, the rewards for focus on early game objectives goes up. Which teams do we feel like are going to benefit from that shift in style, if any?
One change, I think you said CLG.
Yeah.
So like I think for specifically the champion CLG, but also just how aggressive and focused on their own personal mechanics of Dokla, Contracts, and Luger, I think this will help them greatly.
We're also going to talk about this a little bit later, but teams that have either been running or experimenting with some more early game focused comps. Like I know people have been kind of slamming Team Liquid, but like they do already have a very strong early game with very strong laners.
True.
And they should be able to benefit from this as well, especially through things like Drake control and Herald control. And then interestingly enough, C9 is also a very bloody early team, so I think it could benefit them as well.
I like that call out. Mark already caught you peeping the tier list.
Whose tier list is it?
We sniped the tier list off the internet. Why not? I feel like it's a great opportunity for us to...
You posted it in public.
He lives! He lives! I feel like we should tear it apart.
I mean,
or agree with it. I don't know.
The thing I was struggling to look at the closest was actually just the Nila and I think it's supposed to be Zeri that are like kind of like weirdly smashed at the bottom.
Yeah.
The formatting there.
They're scaled different. Their resolutions are different.
That's what I was struggling to look at the most. But I figured it out what those.
Okay. So what are our opinions here, if anything?
Immediately, I think Nila is much better than this person's
dog tier?
Dog tier? Unbelievable, by the way. Especially since we see a lot of players right now in Champions Queue that's like experimenting on it. Just the idea that you get just added experience, you'll always be like ahead of the enemy AD carry is a huge, positive that needs to be explored. This kind of reminds me of the earlier Mordekaiser when he also got the same benefit. In the bot lane when he was being played years ago. So that's one. Another one, I think Twitch is too high. As an A tier, I think he's far too high. I think he's good in specific moments. We already saw him when he was going up against weak early laners like Zeri. And also, second question, where the hell is Zeri?
At the bottom.
There's right there.
All the way down there.
Yeah, she's better than this. Like, 100%.
She's not dog tier?
Yeah, she's not dog tier. This is like the perma thing where Zeri has a really poor win rate in solo queue, because you need a coordinated team around you.
Gotcha.
And in competitive play, she is just 10 times better than that. So I think she should be much higher than this.
I think it over-indexes a little bit on early laning phase, which makes sense if you're a solo queue player. Like, I really don't like losing lane. And I think even with the current meta change like we just talked about, winning lane will be important, but maybe a little too much on the immediate Draven, Kallistas, and stuff. Those are good.
For competitive, I think Sivir is a bit higher. She's been like insanely high prioritized on 12-14. Like the most popular ones have been like Draven, Kallista, Sivir, still Zeri, still Lucian, and then slightly below like Aphelios Jinx. So I'm pretty sure we'll also see that in LCS.
So in short, yes, if this is the content that Tupac is giving us when he's alive, Whoa! Whoa!
I don't want to know where this is going.
Just stick to rap is what I think we gave this. There you go. Just stick to rap.
We gave this more time than it deserved, probably. Let's move on to some top 5 lists. It's LCS 10. We're reflecting on the last 10 years of LCS history. We're going to take a look at some of the lists that have come out in the last week or two. Starting with the top 5 best top laners. Impact number 1, Ssumday. Haunter in that 3rd slot before we get to Dyrus. And then a tie in the 5th position between Balls and Darshan.
Top 6.
Top 6.
Yeah. Confusing graphic to kick off the top 5 series with.
It is a tie. I mean, number 1, Impact. I think anyone who has like dug into any of the stats or anything, it's just become so abundantly clear how much better his, application would be for this list. Just thousands of more kills, assists than the other people on this list. Games won, tons of titles, has gone to multiple teams and just dominated. Like, he's done it all.
Yeah, I said this on the dive this week, but to reiterate, this was the one where Impact had by far and away the most points, and the gap between him and second was the highest of any position. Like, this is he is the overwhelming favorite.
Yeah, feels like the easiest of pickings when it comes to that number 1 slot in the top lane.
Yeah, so I didn't get any voting for this tier list at all, but I think for me, the names that I was kind of wondering about, like, Balls and Darshan, for the career that they've had, for how long of a career that they've had, and how successful it was as like specifically like carry players, maybe a little bit higher would be nice. I don't know who I'd replace.
Who do you put them over? That's the question.
I don't know who I'd replace. Maybe perhaps Dyrus, but that's always that's a strong conversation. I can understand.
You're gonna talk about the legacy of Balls and Darshan though.
Yeah, but the legacy of
you can't ignore the legacy of Dyrus.
The legacy of Dyrus, especially near the end, was that I know is like more negative than positive about like him being an amazing facilitator, and the resources always going in the opposite direction.
Side top.
But I always felt like Darshan
all these
had
current top laners, right? Like they weren't born in the weak side.
That's true.
Dyrus was born. Actually, maybe he created it. I don't know.
The Dyrus
It was.
But that's the thing for me. The legend of Dyrus does solidify him in that 4th slot over Balls. No doubt, though, Balls for me would be number 5, actually ahead of Darshan. I would probably separate them because of the dominance of that Cloud9 roster. Balls, best Rumble we had seen, and at the time, one of the best Rumbles, if not the best Rumble in the world when he played, when he was playing it. But that's the top lane. You've heard our responses. I want to get a word from Impact, the man himself, as he picked up that number 1 slot.
I think I'm better than Ssumday to just history-wise, and other like kind of random to me. I mean, you can say like Haunter or Licorice or someone, but I think I'm better, so I didn't get surprised. I'm like, yeah, good, thanks, that's it.
Amazing response.
So this it aligns with his list.
Me at number 1, everything else doesn't matter. That's his list.
Yeah.
It's the 1 entry long.
I mean, if you are the one in the number 1 slot, I guess that's how it would be.
Exactly. Historically, including Cloud9. I mean, he's just had an amazing history, including Tip, Cloud9. It's long.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. From here, we jump to supports. We find Core JJ in the number 1 slot, right ahead of Aphromoo, number 2, Vulcan, number 3, Biofrost and Lemonation, rounding out the top 5. I do know that there's some contention here. In terms of particularly the 1 and 2, I think there are even arguments as you get further down the list too. But I think particularly in that number 1, 2, this felt like one of the hardest.
Yeah, there was a big debate. We talked about it on the dip, which was like the little dive we put out on Friday.
The mini dive. The dip.
Yeah, Emily, Kobe, and I were debating. You know, Afro. We were all on Team Afro, but I think you're right that that's a really contentious one.
I think it just comes down to how you evaluate the best supports, right? Are you like evaluating the actual peak performance of a player and say like, because I think most people would probably say CoreJJ in his peak is the better support player. But then if you're trying to take into account just how a player has affected the scene, you know, what their reach has been, their legacy has been, that's when you kind of pull out from him, I think, back into the conversation for the actual decade that he's played in this region.
Yeah, I mean, I think for my voting, I think a lot of people's voting, it was what you've done in North America. Yes, you've won a world championship, CoreJJ, but that was in LCK. You know, this is about North American LCS. So I think anything of those accolades, you kind of have to leave on the mantle and take into what's happened. And I think for Afro being a part of the scene for literally the entire history of the North American scene and dominating statistically, I think that's for me why in #1.
Also, there was a point where we were trying to look up statistically whether Afro had like a demonstrable like winning results impact whenever he would join a team. And just because it always seemed that whenever he would be paired with like especially a young AD carry for a large portion of his career, that team would immediately rise in standing and that bot lane would immediately become one that you had to contend with and you had to worry about.
So it's kind of like a concrete positive impact anytime he joined a roster. Junglers was the third of the list that was released. Still awaiting, what does that leave us with? Mid and AD carry to be released later. But we've got Xmithie picking up the #1 slot, followed by Blabber before we jump down to Svenskeren, Meteos, and Santorin. I'm very curious about thoughts on this list.
I think this was one where the entrants weren't really contested. Like, it didn't feel like huge snubs left off where, like, maybe you say special or something for the other list. I feel like this was pretty good, but you could maybe debate the order some. And I know that people had a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, these were my 5. They were just in a different order.
Yeah, I think, for me, Santorin moves pretty far up the list, actually, I think. Yeah?
It's interesting. I would probably move Meteos.
I think Svenskeren moves down, Meteos and Santorin scooch over. I might even bump Blabber down a slot.
Hater.
What? His career's been a lot shorter than the rest of these guys.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been very dominant at times, but he's also had some pretty big drop-offs, right, at times as well. So, I mean, Xmithie, picture of consistency, without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, so, like, Svenskeren was one that was highly contested. He had really dominant years on both TSM and C9, won MVP, stuff like that. Blabber's won a lot of MVPs. I don't know if Xmithie ever won MVP, but the accolades he has, 2 MSI finals, was it 5 championships, 6 championships? I can't remember at this point.
At least. Like, he just always goes to finals when he joins a new team.
Yeah, and this was the rare list that I actually just really liked, like in the order as well. I think for me, there's always going to be the weight between dominance and longevity, like how long you've been at the top in your respective role. Like Xmithie has just been incredibly good for a very long time, including in his XDG days. Like he's just been at the top of it. And then when he went to internationals, specifically that MSI, like he was a top performer. So like I completely like this list actually.
Alrighty, well we're gonna get to talk to 2 of the guys on this list actually. So first, let's hear from Blabber.
I'm pretty happy that I placed second on the top 5 list. I personally don't think that my legacy is better than Xmithie's or bigger. So I definitely respect him a lot. I also respect Svenskeren's like victories a lot. He has 1 more title than me, I do believe. So I'm pretty happy. I think I actually haven't been playing in the LCS for that long. I think this is probably my 3rd year. So I'm hoping that I can be the best one day.
Well, once again, congratulations to Blabber for picking up slot #2. But as we return here to the analyst desk, we're very lucky to be joined by the #1 slot holder in Xmithie. Xmithie, long time no talk, my friend. How have you been?
It's been okay. Coaching, it's been pretty busy. Yeah, I've just been working pretty hard and trying to get to a different role than I was before. So pretty exciting still.
10 years of the LCS, and when people reflect on it and they talk about the jungle position, your name is top of the list. How does that make you feel? How do you reflect on your career now that you've had, a few splits, a couple years to, to think back on all you achieved here?
Yeah, I guess it's also been more than, 10 years of me playing League of Legends. So it's definitely been a pretty long year for me. But yeah, since the Vulcan days, even like before LCS, like I was still playing League of Legends, like just not like franchising wise. It's definitely been pretty fun, and like even now, like going to coaching, I still feel the same passion of like how I was like playing instead of coaching. And yeah, I still probably want to play this game much more than before.
So when this list came out, I think you had a tweet. I can't remember it exactly, but it was something like, glad to see I haven't been forgotten or something like that. Did you have any clue that like one, that this list was coming out, and two, that like you were going to be #1, or did you just like get it dropped on your morning like lap at whenever that was on Monday?
The Twitter scrolling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think they actually messaged us before to like just like, oh, here's a list and like what would you put for top 5, and I put my top 5. Shamelessly put myself in the first place. And yeah.
My question would be more so like thinking back on the history, your legacy and all that. What would you want, like one thing for people to remember you for in the time that you've had in your career?
I think a lot of people have been saying it anyway. It's just the consistency I have, like whatever meta it has been, and like for I don't know how many years I've been on like most teams. Like I was always, I guess, just being a rock and like just being that solid, consistent player on any team. And I guess that's like mainly what I've been proud of for myself.
If you had to take one thing from your career, like a highlight of yourself, do you have like a play in mind that you're like, ooh, this is me. This is like when they build the montages, this has to be in here. Or even just like a moment, like lifting a championship or something. Like what would be like the Smithy, I always look back at this?
I think one particular thing was nothing really special, but I think it was like our first win with CLG when I was in MSG.
Yeah.
I think they were just like a play I did on Echo, and I just heard like the crowd roar like behind me, like after I did like I think like a triple kill or something, but it wasn't really that mechanically like good, but it was just like really hype at that time. And yeah, I think that was probably my most memorable one.
That's sick. And now, you know, moving on to coaching, I know you kind of came through from coaching college into coaching TSM Academy, and you're working with a lot of young, fresh faces. Like, you've been through it. You've been at the mountaintop in the LCS. Like, what's one message that you would give to players, junglers, anything, like new players coming into the scene now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I see is the difference between LCS players and Academy players and even amateur players. It's just how confident they play in their play. Like, I see a lot of players are really good, but they don't really have the confidence to do it in like a real game. Like they just play like really confident in scrim games, but once it goes to like official games, they become less scared and like become less confident. And I think that's my biggest advice to them, is just play how you are, like play how confident you are in normal games, and I think it's gonna go well.
So one question I had was, you talked about, oh, I shamelessly put myself #1. We had a Blabber like little interview right beforehand talking about how he respects you as #1, but like some of the people on this list still active.
They're gunning for you, man.
That's true.
Yeah,
they're
like
gunning for you.
Would you ever bow your head, be like, all right, Blabber, you've done enough? Like, what would that take? Or are you like, no, I'm always putting myself #1 until this guy like wins Worlds or something?
Well, I think my biggest weakness was like I never really got out of groups, and like of all the times that I went to Worlds. So I think longevity wise, I would put myself #1. But I think obviously when people keep going, like especially for Blabber, like he goes for probably is gonna go to Worlds every year, and I think like probably like a couple of years I could see myself like obviously going down in the list.
Alrighty. Well, whether it's Blabber or somebody else, I'm confident that having you in one of the many coaching staffs across the LCS, that one day we will see a jungler.
There we go.
Your career and probably by your hand. But Smithy, once again, congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show today. We'll check in with you soon. For now, though, we're diving into today's game, so we'll catch you back here in just a moment. Welcome back to the LCS, where we're kicking off another day of games. Only 5 games stand between each of our teams in the postseason, so let's check in on how they stand. It's Evil Geniuses up there in first place with 100 Thieves hot on their heels in second. We got a 3-way tie for third with Cloud9, CLG, and Team Liquid Honda before we find FlyQuest in that 6th position. Golden Guardians TSM, they currently round out our playoff picture as Immortals Progressive and Dignitas peer in from the outside.
It's a battle.
Brings us to the games that we have today. It very much is a battle, not only to get into the postseason picture, but also for seeding. So that brings us to what we have in store today. It's Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves to kick things off before we get to Evil Geniuses versus TSM. FlyQuest versus Team Liquid Honda, 3rd game of the day. That's a big one. Cloud9, CLG breaking that tie in 3rd, and Dignitas Immortals Progressive to close things out. We're going to get straight into the Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves side of things. And Raz, I already saw you ready to go because you know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the man in the mid lane. It's Abbedagge.
He has been killing it. And I know the pervasive conversation the first 2 weeks was laning phase aspects, but I think that's overblown because since then, from week 3 to week 6, he has just been the most outstanding mid laner in the LCS thus far. I think a lot of what we've been seeing is him and Closer have been working well in cognizant with each other. First blood percentage is one thing that's been constant just because him and Closer have been ganking through mid lanes. But when it comes to how he plays out with that advantage later on in the early laning phase, he's been excellent. And then when it comes to the team fights, it has just been insane. And so that's just something that people have been constantly giving him credit for, is how he lanes. We've heard it from Jojo Pyun in an earlier interview. And then when you hear from other players, yes, Abbedagge has just been the player right now, the best mid laner so far in this split.
Yeah. Perception always lags behind reality.
Yes.
There was a period of time he played a couple bad games at the beginning of the split, and people really latched onto those, and that delayed the catch up to wait, he's actually kind of smurfing now.
Yes.
And I think that's a big reason that it's really good to call out the 3 through 6 where he's just straight dominating. It's yeah, okay, for the entirety of the split, there were some struggles, but right now he's killing it.
Well, and to Raz's point, he was still killing it in skirmishes and team fights even then, right? There were a lot of games we watched, especially on the Ahri, I believe, in week 1, where
versus TSM.
he was making these absolutely clutch picks to set his team up for a lot of these skirmishes and team fights, and that is how they won that game. So even if people were ragging on him for his laning phase, he was still performing really, really well with the team outside of that.
Yeah, and then he said he would work on it. Clearly, and it's just been not just a catastrophic uprise in performance.
Catastrophic uprise?
I will use catastrophic for anything.
I love using a negative to accentuate.
I'm a stand for the word catastrophic.
There it is.
But no, he has just been amazing. And so it's not just been him and Ssumday. I think it's just the solo laners of this team that has been really the strong points of 100 Thieves and why they have been so dominant.
Ssumday number 2 on that list.
Yes, Ssumday was the other person I definitely wanted to call out. I mean, we were talking about MVPs off screen and stuff, and he is definitely a runner-up, I think. He has been smurfing in the top lane this split. He's been absolutely incredible, and I think he's someone that people are going to have to keep their eye on as we get closer to that voting period, because there is still potential given that they are just right behind EG. I know we've been talking about EG as the most dominant team, God's gift to North America this
They're
split.
not that far ahead.
They're 1 game ahead. It's very possible. And so sometimes we just tunnel on the one, oh, they've been number 1 the whole time, but you can't get past.
Absolutely.
And he's shown a lot of flexibility, I think, this split as well. Previously, I know the team last split was oh, we always rely on Ssumday. He's going to pick Tryndamere. He's going to carry us, that kind of thing. We've seen a little bit more diversity from his champion picks and the way that 100 Thieves want to play around that, if they do want to play around it. And that's also been another really cool facet of why this team has been so successful.
Now, as we talk about everything that's working for 100 Thieves, we're going to flip on over to the Golden Guardians side. They've made a number of role swaps, or rather, role changes, roster changes coming into the week. We're going to hear from Prismal on stepping into the LCS.
One of the biggest things that influenced me swapping to support was realizing that I, as a player, like having agency and being able to do stuff on the map all the time. I really like seeing someone out of position and being yo, guys, this person's totally trolling. Can we punish them or something? And as AD carry, you just don't really have the tools to do that. So being able to flash hook in on Nautilus is something that just brings me a lot of dopamine, and so I feel like it's a better fit for me. I think when you guys see me in LCS, you'll probably be able to expect what you would normally see out of a rookie support. However, I think that this is going to go way better than other role swaps that you've seen. I mean, obviously there are some great ones, Core JJ, huhi, but I think that I definitely can be on that level. And even if I'm not going to be there immediately, I'm going to work really hard, and I'm not going to give up until I become at least top 3 in LCS.
all positivity coming out of Prismal when he looks towards the role swap, saying he believes it's going to be one of the successful ones, if not one of the better ones that we've seen. Yeah, and just for people that don't know the context, he's been playing AD carry for a good amount of his career, and then he made that role swap to support. And it's interesting because now he's just being thrusted into the LCS, so good luck on that front. But he's not the only change that that has been made for Golden Guardians. Last week, we talked about River being put onto the team, and now on top of Prismal coming onto the roster, Leader is also in as well. What do you guys make of that role swap in the mid lane? Not role swap, sorry, roster swap.
They're incredibly different mid lane.
Yeah.
Like, incredibly different. Like, I know last week we looked at River's like jungle proximity and where he likes to go, and it's highest in mid lane. We talked about how he's going to interact with his lanes a lot more, and that back then Ablaze Olive was going to be the one that benefited from it. But if you compare their most played champions, like career-wise, the only one they share is Rise.
This is all time?
And you look at like what their other champions are, it becomes abundantly clear that like Olive is a much more like mage control player, and Leader wants the 1v1. He wants to kill you. So regardless of what happens, he will be interesting to watch.
The only ranged champion on Leader's list is the Rise. Everything else is melee.
Yeah, and so like, he's been actually struggling and getting a visa and coming into the country because he was supposed to be in the academy team for Golden Guardians. And so he finally had that opportunity. He smurfed it on his Akali in game 1 when he went up against CLG. Actually just had a 10-kill game, took over. And then of course, like in general, he has been playing Azir. So it's not as if like he can't play it, but the preference is heavily towards these assassins. That has been his career. In fact, he's in a very similar position than he was when he was in the LEC, because Misfits during that time, you know, was struggling heavily. So they actually put in their entire academy team. Leader was on that and was pretty much given a pretty rough situation where you're like, oh, you have a few weeks. This is kind of seen as like garbage time for them, but he's trying to make the best of that opportunity. He does well in those circumstances, either like smurfs it or just has a really bad game. That's just how he is as a player. And now he's in a similar situation where Golden Guardians are just trying to get the best possible run into playoffs. Not a lot of time. In a completely new environment, I want to see how he goes.
And I'm really curious to see this mid-jungle now, right? Because we've talked about how River wants to be in lanes. We've talked about how Leader wants the 1v1. Like, if they can get him ahead early, speaking to, like, his play style, he will snowball that. He will keep making plays. So it's, again, regardless of what happens, it should be interesting to watch.
I was going to say, it feels very sink or swim. Just by nature of the champions as well.
They also have very little time.
Yeah, before you even talk about players. Now, as we head out to the arena for our first game of the day, we're getting a closer look at Golden Guardians' new jungler, River.
River just traded in the yellow jersey for the gold jersey.
River moving teams is the biggest trade deadline news that we have all split. This is actually such a crazy good pickup for Golden Guardians.
좀 기분이 이상했어요. 제가 디그에 있을 때 이제 10등이었는데 10등 팀인 저를 산다는 게 좀 뭔가 이제 믿을 수가 없었고, 그리고 좀 좋기도 했고 한편으론.
For Golden Guardians looking to start climbing up the standings, my question is really, is River the right piece to fit into this roster to help make some changes?
With Pride Stalker, we're a very jungle-focused team, and River plays around his lanes a lot more. And I think that was a very jarring change for us. And kind of everybody on the team had to get more used to the more selfless playstyle coming from the jungle role. He can really excel and make other players on his team look really good. So I was definitely excited.
Ooh, doesn't hit the wall. Snokes remove speed for longer. Nami flashes anyway, gets the stun, but not the bubble. Contracts may still drop. No flash kill on the board. Stixxay 100 HP.
I think, not specifically me, but just as a team, we've taught him how we see the game and how we see and understand the macro side of the game. I think there were definitely some things that he probably recognized that we were doing that he's happy about that potentially weren't happening on Dignitas, for example.
제가 디그에 있을 때 들어보지 못한 피드백 그런 것들이 많아서 여기 팀에서는, 그리고 골든 가디언즈는 이제 정글 코치까지 있기 때문에 좀 더 디테일한 그런 피드백 들을 수 있고 오길 잘했다 생각하는 것 같아요.
Knock down the mirrors. Dove yet again. 3-0 indeed. River finally gets his kill on the board. Blue in a bad spot, goes to the shuffle though. Don't know how to burst him down. Oh, the poppy tackle into the wall.
디그에 있을 때 골든 가디언즈를 한 번도 못 이겼었는데 그래서 이제 되게 잘하는 팀이라 생각을 했고 저희가 호흡을 맞춘 지 일주일 정도밖에 안 돼서 지금 당장 막 좋은 퍼포먼스는 어려울 것 같고 일단 플레이오프를 가서 더 연습을 해서 플레이오프 때 더 좋은 모습을 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
Hello and welcome to the LCS Arena. Golden Guardians again with a roster shuffle, this time mid and support moving around up against a top dog at 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that video was spicy because they recorded it last week, and Ablaze Olive is talking about this big spicy change, bringing in River. Guess what? There's another big spicy change. He's going to Academy. They're bringing in Leader and Prismal, 2 more huge changes for Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
And this just speaks, Phreak, to Golden Guardians' risk tolerance towards the end of the split has just gone through the roof. They're willing to make any change that they see even has a chance of getting them to the top of the standings. They know there is a possibility this could drop them because it's a crazy big change, late, last minute, but they're willing to take the chance.
To add some context, there is one returning player from Spring Split on Golden Guardians. That is Licorice, who was acquired in the middle of last year. On 100 Thieves, these 5 players have played together for, I think it's 3 splits in a row now.
Yep.
And it's like, you know,
the most changes versus the least changes.
Yes, thank you. That's the concise way of putting that together. But, I mean, keep in mind, Golden Guardians is a team that role swapped huhi to support, and here he is spitting image on 100 Thieves themselves. So maybe they can find it to work out here. I'm always hopeful for Golden Guardians. I did look up some stats, by the way. Ablaze Olive was the last place mid laner in gold XP difference at 10. He had the on average worst laning stats of any mid in the LCS this split. Hoping to get a lot more pressure at the mid lane here with Leader. Jarvan has been locked in already. Big buffs in the patch. We saw him top lane recently in the LEC.
And this is the champion that River first made a huge impact in the LCS right when he came over, right when he got here. And as soon as those Jarvan patch changes hit the list, everybody was thinking, guess what? It's going to be permaban versus River. Gets through this game. And it is going to be interesting to see with the Hex Flash being disabled, you know, how far the Poppy drops in priority. This game of Golden Guardians still ban it away. And so it's going to be the Wukong trade here for 100 Thieves for a closer. He'll be happy about that team fighting. I'm very curious about mid lane though, because with Taliyah banned out and the buffs to LeBlanc on this patch to distortion damage, she shot through the roof. I'm just curious if the mid laners are going to be willing to blind pick it in fear of some of the counter picks, like Ryze and Malzahar have been played very, very effectively into it. So far, though, they're going to let the mid lane champion pool drop past through to the second bans. Aphelios Lulu picked up here for Golden Guardians, Stixxay and Prismal. I have an interesting fun fact for Prismal. Since he has only played, you know, support for about 2 months, he actually, in Champions Queue, had been spamming only Lulu. Obviously, he's going to have a very limited champion pool after first role swapping to support. But the Lulu was very impressive. He got a 25 stacks Medjai's game, 10 kill Lulu game. So very, very good champ select here for Golden Guardians already. I feel like very, very comfort heavy. River on his Jarvan, Prismal on his Lulu. And I have to think, you know, maybe 100 Thieves should try a little bit more target banning. When you have a player you're facing who is newly role swapped, they should have smaller champion pools, and you could target them. You look at their champions queue or something like that.
For what it's worth, though, as far as competitive play, 16 recorded games in Academy, 5 Tom Kents, 3 Renata, 3 Nautilus. Everything else is a 1-0.
How many 25 stacks Medjai's on
You know, 0. I think 0, actually. For what it's worth, though, is winless on Lulu in Academy. You could say, well, he's not with Stixxay. It's a different call here, but yeah, limited data, of course, is going to be on Lulu, his second competitive game on this champion. Quick data on Jarvan. Even worldwide in every league, there's only been 1 top lane Jarvan game. It's been all jungle across every league, except that 1 Wonder game earlier today. So usually going to be a jungler. River, of course, going to be comfortable on this champion. We'll see what comes through to that one. Wukong, of course, got nerfed. Mostly in jungle, is actually pretty okay top laner. Probably going to see that in the jungle, though, as well here.
And we've been talking a lot about this Golden Guardian side because they've made so many changes. But this is also very comfortable draft for 100 Thieves. It is Ssumday on his Ornn, one of the most played. He was one of the earliest adopters to the Ornn meta top side tank for the team. And FBI and huhi have stated that they are the best Lucian, Nami in the entire league, and they deserve the super high priority on this bottom lane. They don't think the other bottom lanes in the league actually deserve to have as high priority on it. The Akali, leaders most played champion. This champion select is delivering so hard for comfort champions for all of these players. Most played and at a 62% win rate all time for a career long for leader on the Akali. They're just setting these new players up, Phreak, with the champions I feel that are their most comfortable, easiest to slip in to the new roster.
Exciting times right here. So final pick comes through. Sejuani will answer the Ornn. Ornn definitely outscales Sej, but Sej would have lane priority. It is going to be Jarvan jungle. We get a mid lane counter pick now for Abbedagge.
And Sejuani has amazing synergy with mid lane Akali here. Another melee champion, help you stack up those stuns really quickly along with the Jarvan. So I do like this pick again from Licorice. He's been one of the Sejuani tops that has solo killed his lane opponents. So I definitely given him a pass for it. There's the Lissandra, the final piece for 100 Thieves. Abbedagge gonna be the roaming playmaker here for them, especially early on. We'll see if he can shove the wave versus Akali. Pre-6, Akali doesn't have a lot of kill pressure.
Yeah.
Post-6, you can force Lissandra's ult out, and with a Jarvan ultimate, maybe you can look for follow-up plays.
All right, going to be an interesting game here. Closer will, by the way, be joining us after his game today. So both Analyst Desk and
Hope
casting.
he's in a good mood, Phreak.
I do too. I think this draft is very interesting. I'm glad we get a lot of Golden Guardians like Spice. I think Stixxay has been the best performing member on the active Golden Guardians roster. We'll see what Leader looks like. We'll see what Prismal looks like. But Stixxay has actually been very, very good. 100 Thieves side, though, it's a lot of early game, right? It's Lucian, Nami, it's Lissandra doing early stuff. Like, there's an Ornn scaling the side lane, but none of those champions other than Ornn scream, oh, I came in for late game team fights, right? So I feel like pressure's on 100 Thieves to play actively and get stuff done.
And you expect that activity, Phreak, to be towards the bottom lane. The Lissandra, gank for Lissandra first, push out mid wave, and get that Lissandra ganking to the bottom lane. See if they can dive, see if they can take down this Aphelios Lulu before they become a problem.
Is that going to happen? It's going to be a really fun game to look at here. Golden Guardians squarely in 7th place. They are 3 games behind having a start in the upper bracket here in the LCS postseason. With 5 to play, it is possible to catch one of those teams up there, but that's the goal here, not just a lower bracket start, one and done. Hoping to make up 3 wins. 7 is the minimum here. Golden Guardians hit the rift against 100 Thieves in 2nd.
Golden Guardians currently on a 4-game losing streak. The 100 Thieves, 5-game winning streak for them. Right to the top here of the standings. We'll see if they can keep it going.
It seems like they can, certainly. One of the favorites to win the championship, to make it to the World Championship as well. Stixxay just going to take some early damage, and the thing is...
First strike, that is money, baby. That's actual money.
Actual money here. You have time to recall, and indeed Stixxay will do so, I believe. Yeah, going to go to the safest place he possibly can, try to make sure he gets away.
19 gold.
That is just 19 gold. What's funny is, I mean, it feels worse than to give a support, 3 hits, because they get their rewards sooner as well as the 20, 30 gold. But yeah, FBI just has more numbers here, and it's going to make it a little more difficult.
It's also about sending the message, Phreak.
It sends a message.
Good burst damage.
Yeah.
Send them back to lane. Get to walking, Stixxay. Kick rocks.
Yeah. Kick rocks I've not heard in a while. Thank you for bringing that one back.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. I'm curious to see about the bottom lane vision, though, because while FBI did get some early money, Prismal took the opportunity to put this ward down here in the side brush, which is pretty important usually versus the Lucian Nami. The side brush vision, looking for the level 2 power spike there for huhi and FBI. Usually looking to go and get that combo as soon as you level up. Get the buff onto Lucian, see if you can proc your electrocute.
So far, perfect CS for both mid laners as Golden is walking up. Of course, there's a range advantage here on Stixxay, so Sniper, land the auto. If you can get behind the minions, you go for the Q here as well, and it's 120 damage or so dealt off of the combo there. As the top laners scrap back and forth, and usually Q auto is how you trade Grasp, and there it is.
And as I went over in Champion Selects, both junglers very well aware this is going to be a bot-targeted game. Double tank lane on top side of the map, so both junglers start top side quadrants. We've got River coming down. He gets his level 3 off of full 3 camp clear of his blue quadrant. Looks like he's going to continue over towards red buff. Closer as well on the Wukong. Skips his Krugs so he can get down to bottom side a little bit earlier. And with the pushing bottom lane here for Stixxay and Prismal, Jeez.
Yeah.
Never mind. This bottom lane, this top lane, very volatile, Phreak.
If this was an Ignite, this would be, you know, a Licorice round 2, but the other way around, you know, with level 3 death there. Jumps forward. Nice couple of shots there with the shield on. It's going to be Guardian blocking most of the damage. Worth pointing out, by the way, we are on 12.14. Early Dragon priority is up as they got massively buffed in stats.
So here's my take on it. Actually, the Rift Herald priority should be more than the Dragon priority. Yes, Dragon buffs got increased, but they also got increased in durability. It takes longer to take them. Rift Herald just straight got 200 more gold and no more health, no more defenses. It's just way more valuable. So while the Dragons are more powerful,
might fight. Gonna jump in for this one, without the ability to be now close. Gonna take some decent damage. Yeah, the Kama picked back up, forcing the flash away from Closer. Bot lane cannot join, so be careful because Golden Guardians about to be in a 2v4. Shield comes in. Here comes the attack. First blood grab. Has to flash away. Leader cannot find this kill. Closer stays alive. Thank you, Nami.
Exactly. The bot lane difference there, Phreak. They're coming up to the Scuttle Crab fight. First, they get the team fight win. River pays the price.
Very close one there. Bit of damage coming across now as well. Golden Guardians under their tower. Fought for the first couple of waves, but now it belongs on the Thieves.
Okay, so what do you feel about my big shift in priority here? Because for solo queue especially, I feel like it is so powerful to get an early Rift Herald. 200 more gold just on taking it. Doesn't take any longer to grab, and already the Dragon stacking has looked like it's been delayed.
I think it's a bit of a tough call. You're right that Dragon is 40% tankier. Until third Drake, it's 40% tankier. Third Drake onwards is a big boost in health, both pre and post patch. 60% tankier. Meanwhile, top lane, of course, looking at pressure as well. Licorice, yeah, he's not going to go for anything else, so not a problem. But yeah, Dragons are worth like, in stats, this is not always a fair comparison. You can just say it's about 1,000 gold per Drake. That's going to be like roughly accurate, and it's good enough to be like that's kind of how we value the Dragon.
Yeah, the buff's got a 3% increase basically.
Yeah, so you know it's up to what you how you value the stats, whatnot. There's a bunch that goes into it. We're not going to spend all the time here, but 1,000 gold is a good rule of thumb. Herald, pretty close to that, and faster to kill.
All right, here's the review of the bottom lane move. The entire replay, all it has to show is this. Bottom lane moving up. You see the Lucian Nami, they push back the Lulu Aphelios, and they're the first ones to get up here. Closer gone back in onto River, knowing his bottom lane is there. They get the kill. Leader has no more damage to finish off the kill onto Closer. Good flash there.
It wouldn't have killed. He flashes the Q is coming from his new model location, so the Q doesn't hit. Closer still wouldn't have died, I don't think, but Bubble comes in time to say, no, you cannot go for a Q auto. You have to leave now.
Yep.
Fair enough. So the man lives. Good job, Huhi, being involved as he's got the assist on the board, and a first blood for Abbedagge. Feels great as well. Top laners continue to scrap. Licorice has already recalled back and burned his TP to get a tier. More mana to keep scrapping.
Especially early on here to get some mid lane advantage.
Oh, level 6 advantage. This could hurt a lot. Licorice into the air. One more shot will kill him. Grass Pelt, Q for some time. And there's a W slow. Auto E is a stun. Is it going to be enough? No, it's not. Good cast. Ssumday, unstoppable, takes the kill. Solo in the top lane.
Ssumday. It still remains the same. Top lane solo bolo for him. The Forge God again. This man always delivers over and over and over. Him and Closer have been the two strongest member of this 100 Thieves team without a doubt in my mind. I know the analyst desk was really happy with the improvement they've seen recently from Abbedagge, but these two have been consistent forever.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we get a ward killed. Prismal finds himself his first LCS control ward kill, and it might be the only kill we get all game for Golden Guardians, unfortunately. They are doing... I'm just saying might, okay? It's still possible, either side of it. They could win the game, too. Whoa, Phreak, wow.
I'll take the bet.
No, I'm not, there's no bet.
I like those odds.
Yeah, great. All right, Huhi in for the trade. Huge stun combo. Is that deletion? Not just yet. Leader's out of health, and he's going to drop Abbedagge 2-0.
All right, this Lissandra's going to get out of control. Yeah. 2 kills here, and is going to have roaming priority. Gets the push up on the cannon wave to take a turret plate as well. Another really good move from Huhi, and we're seeing some nice roam timers from him. Yes, bottom lane, they had prio, they push up. The fight breaks out at the exact right time, but this one on recall timer from Huhi, goes through mid, syncs it with the gank there from Closer. Just really good coordination from 100 Thieves. this is something that has kept them at the top of the standings. Their attention to detail in a lot of the basics.
Yeah, it's doing really, really well. I mean, all those moves have been really nice. Sure, it's costing FBI some farm, but like, hey, if you're chilling down there down 10 CS with Flame Cryo to give your support the ability to roam and get 2 kills for your team, you take that every single day. Stixxay's up CS, but 100 Thieves as a team is winning by a ton.
And now you look for Abbedagge to pay that back. They're like, okay, Lucian, you've been down there dropping some CS. Guess what? Now you've got a Lissandra, level 7. Next ultimate that comes up for Abbedagge, he also has Flash. That should be an easy play to pull off. Stixxay here, going for the lane swap up to the Rift Herald. Looks like they should be able to get it because Sejuani swapped to bottom side already. Already coming up the river, though.
Yeah, they actually dodged a lot of the vision there as he had him jump over the wall, but hold on, jungler's coming around. Smites are up, improved smites need the eye to come up in a second. There you go. Yeah. Has enough time to grab it, but now can they get away? Because Ornn's gonna hit 4 people. Only gets 1 as the flash come around, but here comes the engage for Wukong. Into the wall they go. Stixxay nearly dropped. They'll try to stay alive. A blast plant will bring back leader to the turret as well. And they don't get any kills. 100 Thieves force many summoners out. It's not a bad fight, but Golden Guardians get the new and improved Rift Herald.
Yeah, good preemptive move here from Golden Guardians. They're the ones, they force the swap over to Herald. Lots of early damage on it. Lissandra looking around, does have ult and flash as we said.
Might be a dive here. Stixxay, summonerless. Pretty low on health bar, does have an ulti and a red gun, so he can get his health bar back up. Ignite is onto the Ornn, got 200 HP. Root comes in, won't kill Stixxay though, still has the ulti to heal back up if needed. He should have 100 mana on that bar. Prismal
it's gonna be 10 people.
And here comes the rest. Everyone's coming around. Who's gonna land for a little bit? Stixxay gets a shield, stays alive. Flag and drag out, and they're gonna find 1, 2 kills already. Golden Guardians out of the board. Here comes Akali. Can she find the rest? Ulti's already down. It looks like a stun might get the target they want, but a stopwatch is there. The ulti's gonna pop onto 3. Flash in, leader gets 1. Can he find the rest? He's gonna look for closer, follows in, and they're gonna look to knock up now as well. Abbedagge, red smited river, kills him off. 2 back, an equal team fight for Golden Guardians.
And the shutdown here, huge onto Abbedagge. Golden Guardians chase down too. They're stopping a couple recall here from the low health members, but it is going to be a push out. Look at that bottom minion wave actually. Not in a great spot for the Golden Guardians, pushing into 100 Thieves territory.
Lucian should be able to claim it before it deals too much turret damage, so could feel pretty good. Ssumday low on health, but honestly he is fine up there. Licorice can shove in a wave, but not much else. Golden Guardians can knock it into the turret, get something else done.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay there on the 100 Thieves moves because they're trying to push up that minion wave and 3 members were behind the tower with just Ornn and Lissandra trying to push it.
Oh, that's gonna be slow. He's got dash though, I have to imagine, so not much play to be had. Indeed, there won't be.
In the aftermath though, 100 Thieves hold on to their over 2,000 gold lead. As we take another look at this replay. So again, they're trying to force this before the Golden Guardians reinforcements get there. They can't quite get it just in time. 2 members already killed for Golden Guardians, but they know with the health bars, they're gonna go for the chase. Licorice hits that Sejuani ultimate, even though there's a stopwatch here. Nice AoE slow. Leader flashes for the first kill onto FBI, tries to chase down the second one, but it's just gonna be the kill onto Abbedagge there with River catching him in said river.
You see that Jarvan W? It tanked like 1 Lissandra Q. People on Reddit saying it's not a real ability. How dare you? It almost counteracted a slow.
Excuse me, sir. The slow on the Jarvan W
is 15%.
Is there as well. So
yes, he had a red buff. His slow was already bigger from that. But technically, you find another one. All right, Stixxay gonna take a culling. Gonna get away. Yeah, a little bit of pain, but he's gonna be fine right there. And the Dragon is up, so Kobe, so far, you are correct. That Herald was played for instantly. Dragon is still alive at 11:30.
Yeah.
So trust your color combinators, folks.
It's just because you can take Herald so quickly, and we saw it here in this game. Golden Guardians, they snap it up so quickly that even though 100 Thieves started to roam their bottom lane up first, didn't quite get there in time. We'll see about the aftermath though.
River, oh, huhi, they're still gonna get dunked. They know he's flashless, but they have the damage for it. Ulti comes across now, Wukong as well. They'll get 1, but it's gonna trade back. And now without a marksman, there's not much to do anymore. FBI gonna be pretty safe down there. River left alone, puts on the shield, forced the cleanse. What a dodge by FBI. That's gonna force them all away. Over the wall goes Abbedagge. Q through the minions, beautiful. Everfrost, that W shield! It saved his life, Reddit!
Oh my God. I am just completely out of the loop. I did not see that post or something, but that thing has been bugging Phreak for a while, I'm guessing.
So people are talking about the, go ahead.
I was more hung up on Abbedagge has ult, so I thought for sure he's just gonna go in there, ult him, and finish it off. but he did not want to go into tower range. Maybe there was polymorph or something in his future, and he didn't want to get polyed and denied.
Reach him. That range is short. Oh. Yeah, but you're right. Under the turret, he probably could have gone. It was more like Jarvan got an AD ratio up. Like, what happened to the W? That skill sucks. Let's try here.
Well,
bam.
As far as I know, Jarvan's pretty happy with them buffs on this last patch. So here's the backline exchange. Both supports going down, and River, the last one left standing. So he's the next target.
That was nice, though.
Yeah, honestly, that is not. It's only leader there too. So yeah, could have taken a tower shot maybe.
I think if Evercross would have killed, he's like, this is enough damage, and then the shield came in. I think that's why he didn't dive. He thought he had it.
Regardless, gonna pick up the dragon as well. 3,000 gold now, the increased gold lead for 100 Thieves. And they've also got the Ornn scaling on top side for Ssumday, 2-0. Level 10 approaching. Quite nice for them. This pace, you mentioned the early focus of a lot of the draft here for 100 Thieves. This pace, I feel like, is very adequate considering the investment.
This is a nitpick. I'm curious how you feel about the term very adequate, since, like, by definition, it's just average. Sure. I don't know. It's a random thought. Just like it doesn't matter. Anyway, 2,500 gold, 2 turret plates, almost. Well, 2 turret plates taken in the top lane, 1 in the bottom lane. Herald has already been summoned and didn't get a whole lot done as plates fall 14 minutes in. And leader just going to be sitting there on the side lane, close enough in farm. Worse KDA than the Lissandra, who's been the beneficiary of a lot in this game.
I feel like he kind of got the short end of the stick with the Scuttle Crab fight. You know, enemy bottom lane moving up first. Lissandra got a bunch of early kills. Been a rough early one. But into the side lanes now, working away on the turret. Probably won't be able to do it too fast, but slow and steady gets the job done.
Yeah, and River gets to hang around. He got to take Gromp away and make sure the man's safe. Kind of, battle warding and taking some money out, so not a bad look.
Rift Herald number 2 also got the same treatment, by the way, with the extra 200 gold added to it. So this has long been an ignored and maligned objective because later into the game you don't get the guaranteed turret plates, but actually getting turret gold with it, with the increased health, the charges are really strong. You can actually make hard pushes. If you really are going to get an actual turret out of the kill and extra 200 gold upon taking it, I really think this shift over towards Rift Herald. Rift Herald is the future.
Yeah, it's going to look good. Right now this one is in Closer's inventory, and I think, yeah, the one thing we usually saw with Herald summons was you would get the first turret with it, and you'd almost always ignore it and let someone kill it. Maybe it hit tier 2, but probably not, and you'd kind of let it go. It wasn't worth really striving for anything else there. But with the extra health, yeah, it feels like more teams, not every time, sure, but more teams should be willing to follow the Herald on the second tower, maybe go for the entire thing. Maybe it's going to force more of a response. We'll see what happens.
One thing's for certain, 100% of LCS games on 12-14 have more early game action.
Yeah.
Lots more kills early on, so well done there with the adjustments.
-1 on the cannon. Rip Stixxay down about 90 gold, but hopefully it's going to be okay for him. 2,500 gold remains relatively flat. Mountain Drake, of course, one of the drakes that functionally scales throughout the game. The amount of armor and MR you get scales both off the items you buy and your base stats. As you level, it's more stats for you, and leader has nowhere to go. Might turn invisible, but he's going to drop! All the CC lands. Well done, 100 Thieves.
Another controlled 100 Thieves game, Phreak. This is what gets you into second place in the LCS. Consistency here. See if they can finish this one out, though. So if we go down the checklist, that Rift Herald number 2, like you mentioned, already acquired, going to help them actually crack these turrets and get some turret kills for themselves, open up the map. They can continue stacking dragons, but I don't think they're going to need to go all the way to Seoul with the way that this game is going right now. We'll see. Maybe there's a big shutdown that happens. You know, Stixxay gets a bunch of money or something there for the side of Golden Guardians. They still do have very powerful scaling with Aphelios, Lulu. That combination can, for sure, win you some team fights later. It's a little bit difficult to play into Lissandra, Wukong, and Ornn, especially without a cleanse. It's a lot of CC to have to navigate around as an AD carry, but maybe they'll be able to pull it off.
Ooh. He actually goes the other way anyway. He actually tossed it down to the bottom, so would have thrown him into 100 Thieves, but really good all the same.
People always talk about how Vision saves lives and Ward saves lives, Phreak, but Vision also gets people killed.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Bubble from out of the darkness there into the full CC combo.
It's really well played, and that's, of course, another 450 gold earned by the team. Nothing else claimed really on the top of it, so just the money, but you'll take it. 3,400 gold lead is River Crest on its CS. Both junglers in a pretty similar spot right now, even both of them on 2 kills. Mythic finally comes through for the Sejuani, and another catch over the wall. That's leader locked into place. Good luck, try to find some way out. Jumps as far as he can, and Closer still kills. A multi on cooldown, 40 seconds to the second dragon.
Nice vision toggle there. huhi playing off the previous trajectory of the Akali. Gets him with the bubble again.
And now we're seeing a chase down to the top side. Good immunity on the stun yet again, and Ssumday really have what it takes to get away from this one. Waiting for the cooldown to come back, waiting for the passive stun to be available yet again. Very tanky. Gets in front of the charge. Ignite is on. W for the slow. Flash to not be stunned. Pretty much required. So good job by Licorice forcing out that one cooldown. Herald down to 2,000 health. FBI can't go for that much more. The Lulu slow is nice. They will not quite kill that tower.
Juicy, 1 hit away, but so dangerous to all in. Again, you don't want to give a big chunk of money back to this Aphelios. Bottom side does fall though. Lissandra gets it done on her own. See if he can come up for the flank now. Bottom side gets pushed in.
Just dives on in, force the Gale Force away. FBI still wants it. The flash for Prismal. Maybe required, maybe not. Made the call that Stixxay needed the health, and with 200 HP left, Stixxay lives.
He's truly trying to embrace that support mentality, though. I remember a lot of the AD carries switching to support talk about how hard it is to get in the habit of blocking skill shots. Yeah. I think specifically this was even brought up with Prismal. He had to get rid of the basically the muscle memory and the instincts to dodge all your skill shots. So he's fully embracing it there, the mentality of support. Flash and jump in front of your AD carry. I like the effort. The heart is in the right place.
It is, but you got second dragon on the board now. A lot of these going to give plenty good stats on the way towards Ocean Soul, 10 minutes away from that. So a 30-minute dragon, roughly the play for Soul, 400 Thieves here. Yes, turret, I'm going to guess, okay, 18. I'm going to guess around 12. Wasn't too far off as Ssumday would like to knock this one down. Licorice, oh, it's fighting. 45 gold, plus 0.5 to Ssumday.
All right, this mid tower though. Okay, Ssumday's going to cut him off with the ulti.
Ult hit onto 4 combined. Prismal will drop, and here comes Closer for a double knockup. This is going to be such an easy team fight. The bot lane's already dead. Lucian gets 1 kill. Out goes River, stunned for now. The slow is there. He's going to flash for safety. This turret will fall, and 100 Thieves grow the gold lead to 7,000.
And what time is it, Phreak? It's almost 20 minutes. Baron right on time. 100 Thieves get 2 kills, the bottom lane down, just in time for the spawn of Baron, and they don't waste any time. Right over to it. Such an efficient team here. Let's see, can River do anything here? Does he have a miracle in his pocket? Looks like no.
He's going for the mid lane wave. He's like, you know what, this ain't me.
Even if he has one in his pocket, he's not going to take it out for this game. 20 minutes here, right on spawn. This is going to be one of those quests completed for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it is looking pretty nice, but there is the claim on the Baron. 100 Thieves look at their 11th win here in the regular season. They have already locked playoffs soon. They can lock a playoff bye if they keep this pace. And if they knock this one down, 4 to go with a lead.
Beautiful cross-section here, because you've got Ssumday's ult this way and Nami's ult this way, right through. Double hit on Prismal, goes down instantly, forcing every movement out of the backline, and the full chase down here from 100 Thieves is beautiful. No time wasted, right out of a Baron, pick that sucker up. 7.7 thousand gold lead, 2 dragons. They have just steamrolled Golden Guardians.
Looking pretty good right now. So we got Abbedagge just taking away a wave. Licorice, you see him on side lane. Unfortunately, lost his lane pretty horrifically to Ssumday, and from there hasn't been really hasn't had the same chance to team fight. Right? Ornn, obviously a better team fighter.
It was a horrific solo kill there at the hands of Ornn. Another Forge God killed. I feel like we've seen so many of those, specifically from Ssumday himself.
Score Drinker Smite combo gets it from about 920 HP. Stixxay gets its own reds. The buff's secured by Golden Guardians, but though you have red and blue, it is not quite purple, which is what we got 100 Thieves wearing. Red Bull, Baron power play. 1600 for now, but we should see probably top and middle tier 2 drop under their pressure.
Yeah, don't expect this to slow down at all for 100 Thieves. 1 minute 40 seconds, plenty of time to get some secondary turrets here.
Culling comes out, a turret shot or 2, healed right back up by Nami, and they're going to go for this turret right now. Got a cannon there as well. FBS still putting the shots in. Closer putting in damage here as well. Feels very safe, and indeed, top lane tier 2 falls, 80 gold. Mid lane tier 2 has Ornn split pushing towards it. Has his ulti available. Somebody can join for a team fight. Big engagement with FBI, just barely lives, but here comes River, and he's going to find the shutdown. This might be what they needed here on the side lane. Azonia's for leader. A second kill comes through. Can you believe that Golden Guardians may have found the comeback? Abbedagge flashes, but the chase is there. Leader follows goes through. And now Ssumday's on the run out there. Golden Guardians look for their 4th kill of this fight. A very, very tanky Ornn immunes the knockup, but he's slowed. And Rivers should be able to survive this one as well. They're going to go for a 4th kill. The Polymorph, he has flashed, but he'll even burn it. Feels like it's not worthwhile, goes back invisible. Be careful not to die, and they're going to claim a 4 for nothing. The shutdowns come through.
I wonder if they can hard push for one of these objectives. Looks like topside objective bounty here available at the tower. Stixxay with red white gun can also capitalize with further extra gold.
Rockhat flip the switch replay, a 4 for nothing to Golden Guardian.
Yeah, look at River with the long dive there in to finish off that kill onto the Lucian immediately, and Stixxay right into the fray. Red white gun annihilating them in the team fight. Flash follow for leader, gets over the wall, finishes it up on the Lissandra, and of course, even though Ssumday is tanky, 4v1 can't overcome those odds.
Yeah, the Aphelios is busy pushing it top wave, obviously going for the objective there, which I think is smart, right? You're trying to get the extra bounty if you can. Top lane turret did in fact live, but I think the attempt was pretty smart. You get, someone to rotate over, and they got the Ornn kill anyway.
Yep, and there's a bigger bounty on the neutral objectives. The Dragon coming up soon. Base of 500, see if they can actually complete this one. 24 seconds left on this Ocean Dragon. Golden Guardians already down here, trying to clear out the vision, set up for their team fight. Again, there's so much CC from the side of 100 Thieves, with the Ornn and Nami waves being used really nicely in tandem here from Ssumday and huhi to cut off such a big area of the team fight setup. I feel like that's going to be even more problematic for Golden Guardians in a small corridor like the River.
Akali's over the wall, though. Control will spot if she goes for the play around the flank. Licorice now here as well to kill the ward, and that's going to keep Akali from being spotted. Now they can guess, but they do not know for sure Akali is in that place as the ward is gone. Maybe it's going to matter. Abbedagge can go for the flank here as well, and here comes the team fight. When does it really start out? Abbedagge gets found out, hit for a bit. Ulti on the 2 from Ornn. Trying to dive the backline, but Polymorph comes in. Perfect CC chain by Prismal. Gets the mid laner down. A 2 for nothing, and the scaling may have happened. FBI is gone. 1 kill for Wukong, but that's going to be it. 4-1. The early game was good, but the mid game belongs to the Golden Guardians.
100 Thieves Empire comes crashing down around the Dragon. Golden Guardians smurf the team fight. Prismal hits the Lulu. Polymorph onto the flanking Lissandra. Can't get out of it in time. Goes down. No self-ult from Abbedagge. And I had to call out leader. The Akali flank up behind the blue buff on the enemy. Gets into the backline, finishes up that kill, takes down FBI. Huge, huge comeback for Golden Guardians.
It was almost a flash auto to kill the Lulu. That was a little tight there from Prismal.
Phreak, they've wiped the objective bounties off the map. The game is even recognizing them. Well done, Golden Guardians. Brought it back. Here is what I'm talking about. This flank right here from leader comes in on the Akali. While the attention is on Abbedagge coming in here, gets polymorphed into knockup. Really good stuff there from Prismal. Again, he's been spamming this champion, got the timing down perfectly, and in the backline, it was River and leader finish off those kills, dissecting this 100 Thieves team comp that, again, does not have the greatest end game here. Ornn starting to upgrade items, though, for his teammates.
Sure, but, at the end of the day, all it gives you is a few more stats on champions that at remotely equal items. Lucian is nothing compared to an Aphelios in an actual team fight, in a structured team fight. They're both allowed to hit. It's not a problem here. Waiting for the IE to be done, sure, but Stixxay is going to feel amazing at item 3.
All right, let's see if they can keep it going here. Leader into the side lane to start split pushing here. 8 stacks on his Darksteel as well. Unleash teleport ready. That Akali flank is devastating to the 100 Thieves lineup. If he gets around all this CC, takes down the Lucian. Oh, Prismal though!
We got our stun, and Stixxay is going to delete instantly. Prismal flashed into the Baron pit, but that's not safety. The man is going to die, and just like that, 100 Thieves are taking the entire game back for themselves. Leader will try, gets 1, pops the stopwatch, but how long does the top laner live? Rooted in place, this should be a dead Akali. He'll try his hardest, but he will drop. The shutdown comes through. Only a single kill for Golden Guardians, and now it's their turn to lose 4. Licorice running for his life, but it will be cut short. Knockup gonna land. Closer gets the rampage. 16-12, Baron on the plate.
Vision, vision, vision. 100 Thieves are back to their basics here. They're able to find a huge pick on Stixxay and Prismal. Baron number 2 will be their reward. This one's only at 27 minutes because they took the first one so quickly. And that's going to be a return to the siege.
just like that, back to a 7,000 gold lead River. Hey, everyone. I'll try. That's a ward. Okay. Who's here? Oh, it's huhi. Okay, it's been spited. Yup, EQ is up. This is gonna be some.
They're pinging to actually stop the backs here. Teleport comes in.
All right, they're gonna try to go for broke here. Mana bars are low. Ulti mostly missing. Leader wants this one. River, he doesn't have the dunk, but he has the EQ. Gets Abbedagge for one. Here's the rocket belt. Leader dives in, doesn't get much done. Stun down to the turret. He's gonna drop. Not a single kill found. And here comes FBI. A 1-for-1 now. Jarvan buys a lot of time, but Prismal the only one left alive now. Everyone will drop. Golden Guardians try, but instead they just feed gold in the 100 Thieves pockets.
Maybe if that outer turret was not still up, but the outer turret there, Akali just instantly gets blown up on going in, and 100 Thieves, not only they get their Baron, but Phreak, they get an extra prize on the way out. Another bunch of kills. Here's another look at the initiation, though. Abbedagge got revenge this time around, picking off the bottom lane. Nice little move there from the Lissandra. From the moment their bottom lane got assassinated, though, Golden Guardians start to scramble, try and get somebody out to be able to defend. 100 Thieves do a very good job chasing them down, taking down every last member here except for the Jarvan, denying them the possibilities of the big comeback. It had all just started to change the story of this game, Phreak, but 100 Thieves take it right back.
The smite comes in again, and then I think this is an okay play. It's like, look, we're losing so much, take a risk. Maybe we win without ultis available as the team flies in, but as you mentioned, that turret leader just gets nothing done. I think if we went bottom side, there was a chance, but gets no one-shots here.
Yep. Immediately CC stacked. So much hard CC on this team. Abbedagge does end up going down. I believe that is the one kill that Golden Guardians actually do get. FBI chasing down Prismal. And
at least it was exciting for a while, but at this point you have to feel like 100 Thieves will finish what they started. You saw the gold league get clawed back about halfway. FK's little gold graph, right? There were a couple of good fights in a row for Golden Guardians. They made it competitive. They made people believe, okay, maybe they can pull it back here. Comp diff could work in the end, but at this point, this feels so overbearing. 100 Thieves will find their second tier 2 turret kill in the bot lane.
Yep, Baron buff pushing. Should be able to finish up this one, no problem. They've got Ssumday in mid. 4-1 split push, 400 Thieves. No reason to stop. Aphelios is trying to get something back, though. Objective bounty show up, and he immediately takes the turret, immediately gets the cash in for the bounty.
A little bit of something. When's the recall going to go through? Because they might just decide to give away inhibitor turret. Looks like they will. Realizing they will have to recall for the Nexus itself. Aphelios not going to get to stay to play for top lane tier 2. The wave goes in, okay, cool. But it is so far 2 turrets to 1 plus the inhibitor. Bounty roughly equals the turret gold. But third turret coming in, and it's going to be even more now. 100 Thieves skates away from the engage. Turret will still fall. Yes, 3-1 in turrets. And that's going to be really, really nice. Knock up towards Licorice. He will die. Yes, a 1 for nothing. Can't do anything about this one. Here comes the engage. Not going to find it. A quick Shirelius from Lulu keeps the backline safe. But now a 5v4. It was easy at 5v5. It's going to be even easier now as leader invisible. Waits around his closer, and Abbedagge would like to kill him. The flash fall, they find the stun. Here's the dive, there's the kill. FBI in a rampage. Next engage come through for Ssumday. Rooted up in place for a little while here, but 5v3 is going to be a formality at this point. Ulti comes across, decent damage. Dunk comes through, but Azonius buys the time needed. Kill number 3 comes across, and 4. At the very end, Prismal will stay inside the fountain, and the turrets will fall 24-13. An action-packed game. The attempt of a comeback here for Golden Guardians. 100 Thieves in control from start to finish. A 31-minute victory. Second place team finds their 11th win in the LCS regular season.
Temporarily, they tie Evil Geniuses at 11 wins at the top of the standings. 100 Thieves, little speed bump there in the middle of the game. Lost a pretty big team fight at Dragon, but they got right back up, reset around the Baron, jump on the pick there with Lissandra. Abbedagge picks them off. They get right back to business, close the game.
11, 2, and 8 for closer. That man was everywhere, it felt like. He's going to be up here later, so he really is going to be that case.
Yep, closer will be joining us to cast game number 3, Team Liquid versus FlyQuest. Looks like he'll be in a pretty good mood.
Yeah. Team pretty well on his back in early game pressure composition, player on bot lane. Nami roams twice early on, both turn into kills. Definitely really, really well played out of huhi to be involved in those. Yeah. Again, mid-jungle duo has just been great overall. Those two have been really, really solid here in the LCS. And once again, right, they fight for bot scuttle. Okay, sure, 315, and It's ours.
Yeah, good fundamentals in the beginning there from 100 Thieves. And now they're on a 6-game win streak heading towards playoffs. This is perfect time to really be peaking as a team as you head towards those playoffs, because that is going to be a hard fight. Excited to see if Evil Geniuses can retake sole possession of first place later on when they get their game today.
Yeah, that'll be a whole lot of fun. So we are stepping away, but on the other side, Crawl Closer is joining the State Farm analyst desk before he makes his casting debut a little later on. We'll see you there.
Hey, Ash, what's your plan?
A new and very serious game, Jake from State Farm, but these in-game purchases are wrecking my wallet. I can't keep sparkling, Jake. I need a sparkle.
State Farm has options like combining home and auto, so you get a rate that fits your budget.
Very nice. The gameplay is really strategic, I swear.
For surprisingly great rates that fit any budget, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
It's time to get hooked on this Assist of the Week presented by State Farm. With the help of a well-timed hook from Sven, Blabber gained just enough room to fight back against FlyQuest's Engage, making it all for naught.
Philip jumps in, but holds it. Oh,